Starting it up in 3, 2. I already hit the button.
Welcome to War Stories. That's what we're calling it for now, at least.
On this segment of the Kagami cast, we are currently going into War Stories.
There you go. Got like a BBC narration. Alright, so what we're doing is, since both of us are at least like a little bit interested in like World War II and minor history stuff, right?
Yeah.
I thought that I would tell you a story and that you would have no idea what it is before I tell you. So you know literally nothing about this except that the man's name is Juan Pujol Garcia.
Yeah. Oh, wait. He also has glasses.
Yes, he does.
And they're not round.
Yeah.
I think this guy's a serial killer.
Barcelona, February 14th, 1914, or February 28th, 1912. They don't really know which, but it's definitely one of those two. Juan Pujol, there's a J in the middle of it, so I just think, and since he's Spanish.
It's a Pujol!
Yeah, I think it's Pujol. I'm gonna butcher a lot of pronunciations, so if we have any Spanish listeners, I'm sorry.
Also, hi. I'm sorry. Hola.
Hola. Juan Pujol Garcia is born to Jean Pujol, a Catalan. Catalan is a region in Spain, who owned a dye factory, and Mercedes Guijarro Garcia from the Andalusian town of Motril in the province of Granada. Granada is another region of Spain.
I know what Granada is.
All right, cool.
It's what keeps vampires away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just... Vampires are pretty susceptible to grenades, I found. The third of 4 children, Pujol was sent at age 7 to the Valdemia boarding school run by the blah blah blah. He was in boarding school.
Wait, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Were grenades first invented in Granada?
I don't think so.
False!
I would have to say no.
No, they're invented in China.
Well, gunpowder and rocketry were invented in China, but...
Yeah, they had grenades. I didn't say the modern day grenade.
Oh, okay, well, bombs. He went to Sunday school, he went to, I got ahead of myself. He went to boarding school, 20 miles in Barcelona. I think that's a major city in Spain.
Yes.
He remained there for 4 years. The students were only allowed out of the school on Sundays if they had a visitor, so his father made the trip every week, which I thought was nice. So I left it in.
It's all about family.
His mother was Catholic, but his father was much more secular and had more liberal political beliefs. At age 13, he was transferred to a school in Barcelona, run by his father's friend Mossen Josep, where he remained for 3 years, so he's 16 now. After an argument with the teacher, he decided that he no longer wished to remain at the school and became an apprentice at a hardware store. So he's 16 and working at the hardware store.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It was a different time.
He's already a grandpa!
Yeah, he's already fully grown. He's ready to go to war. Pujol engaged in a variety of occupations prior to and after the Spanish Civil War, such as studying animal husbandry at the Royal Poultry School.
Dude, you gotta take care of chickens.
Yeah, you gotta go to college for chicken farming. And managing various businesses, including a cinema. So basically, this guy's lived more life at 16 than either of us have at this point. Which just seems to be a theme the further back you go.
So he went to military school. Then
no, it wasn't in military school. He was in the Royal Poultry School.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the Royal School. So he went to boarding school, Royal School, then he went to the hardware store. And then he thought, this is great, chickens. You know what? Fuck chickens. TVs.
Movies is big business. That's not even a Spanish accent. His father died a few months after the Second Republic's establishment in 1931, while Pujol was completing his education as a poultry farmer.
Why do you call him Pujol?
Pujol.
But his name's Juan.
But that's what it said. Oh, okay. So it's I don't know. That's just what it said in the.
Boom! I came up with a question you couldn't answer.
Yeah, I mean, we predicted that you would. But father died in 1931 after the Second Republic, which I guess has something to do with the government of Spain. I didn't look in too much to the Spanish Civil War.
People died and then piñatas.
I think the piñatas came before. Also, I think they're Mexican, not Spanish.
And that's why they died. There weren't piñatas at first.
Okay. That's why the smallpox got him. You had to have piñatas.
Exactly.
Pujol's father left his family well provided for until his father's factory was taken over by the workers in the run-up to the Spanish Civil War. In 1931, Pujol did his 6 months of compulsory military service in a cavalry unit, the 7th Regiment of Light Artillery. So they had mandatory service at that time, and he did it in a cavalry unit.
Back when horses were still viable.
I think they were, well, it says light artillery unit, so I think that they were like horses escorting artillery. So it was 1931, so it would have been horses pulling artillery around.
Cars were invented then.
Yeah, but they weren't like in major use for military applications.
I don't know.
Well, Poland tried to fight tanks with horses.
God bless you, Poland.
He knew he was unsuited for a military career, hating horse riding and claiming to lack the essential qualities of loyalty, generosity, and honor.
He openly admitted he's a scumbag.
He openly admitted he does not have loyalty, generosity, or honor.
I told you he was a serial killer. It's the
I'm
glasses.
not fit for this work. I'm awful.
I am awful. Look at these glasses. I am a terrible human being.
Pujol was managing a poultry farm north of Barcelona in 1936 when the Spanish Civil War began. His sister, Alana's fiancé, was taken by Republican forces. Republican, I think, meaning in favor of a republic. So they're either fascist or communist.
Nope, they were American.
No, I don't believe so.
The Republicans never...
Didn't have... Wait.
Alright, so the Republicans took over, you know.
Yeah.
They opposed the Senate.
His sister's fiance, and then they took his sister and his mother and arrested them, accusing them of being counter-revolutionaries. A relative in a trade union was able to rescue them from captivity. He was called up for service on the Republican side, but opposed to the Republican government due to their treatment of his family. He hid at his girlfriend's home until he was captured in a police raid and imprisoned for a week before being freed via the traditionalist resistance group Socorro Blanco. They hid him
Blanco means white.
Thank you. I had no idea. They hid him until they could produce fake identity papers that showed him to be too old for military service. But he's like 20.
Yeah, well, look at the glasses. He looks like he's 1,000.
I don't know what time that is in his life.
I don't like his glasses.
Yeah, I can tell. He started managing a poultry farm that had been requisitioned by the local Republican government, but it was not economically viable. The experience with rule by committee intensified his antipathy towards communism.
You always move forward. You don't move back to chickens.
Yeah, exactly. This guy does not like the communists. He rejoined the Republican side using the false papers with the intention to desert as soon as possible, volunteering to lay telegraph cables near the front lines. He managed to desert to the nationalist side. Okay, so this is literally communism versus fascism. Deciding fighting over who wins the country.
America.
So he managed to desert to the nationalist side during the Battle of the Ebro in September 1938. However, he was equally ill-treated by the nationalist side, disliking their fascist influences and being struck and imprisoned by his colonel upon expressing sympathy with the monarchy. So he expressed sympathy with the monarchy, and they beat him up and put him in jail.
All hail the king.
So he doesn't like fascism anymore.
Fascism's bad.
I mean, it is. It's the worst. That's what Nazis are, or want to be.
Nazis are people too.
Sometimes.
Sometimes they're fish.
You're right. So his experience with both sides left him with a deep loathing of both fascism and communism, and by extension, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union. He was proud that he had managed to serve both sides without firing a single bullet for either. After his discharge from the Nationalist Army, he met his wife, or his future first wife, Araceli Gonzalez, in Burgos and married her in Madrid. They had one child, Joan Fernando. In 1938, during the early days of World War II, Pujol decided that he must make a contribution for the good of humanity, end quote, or quote, for the good of humanity, end quote, by helping Britain, which with its empire was Germany's only adversary at the time. So this is 1938, opening blows of World War II. Sorry. So America doesn't come in the war till like...
Yeah, but remember, he's a shitbag. He can't be trusted.
Right. He initially approached the British 3 different times, including through his wife, but they showed no interest in employing him as a spy.
Let me be a spy. No. Let me be a spy. No.
No. He sends his wife in to ask him to be a spy.
Will you let him be a spy so he'll leave me be?
No.
Are you him? No. Then no!
Are you him? And just like, he's in there with a wig and like makeup on, like, no. I mean, no.
I mean, no.
He's a brilliant spy. Let's hire him. So he decided to do the only thing that made sense. He would become a spy working for the Germans and then approach Britain again, offering to be a double agent.
Slaps a Nazi thing on his arm. Can I be a spy now?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, Nazis have invaded!
Pujol created an identity as a fanatically pro-Nazi Spanish government official who could travel to London on official business. He also obtained a fake Spanish diplomatic passport by fooling a printer into thinking he worked for the Spanish embassy.
I like to think it was like, out of toner. You're not out of toner! I'm also a spy.
Yes, hello, I am not a spy. I work for the Spanish consulate. Would you make me some diplomatic papers? So this guy literally just walked into a printer shop and talked them into making him fake documents.
Hey, can I have fake documents?
Yeah, sure. We don't have rules about this or anything.
$5 more and we'll make it happen.
Hey. 5 more pesos.
Oh wait, sorry. 2 piñatas and we'll make it happen.
2 piñatas and I can make it happen. So we contacted Friedrich Napreti, an Abwehr agent in Madrid. Abwehr is one of 2 Nazi intelligence organizations.
Yeah, only 2.
I don't remember what the other one is called.
Clearly they're not intelligent because they didn't foresee America!
Well, I mean, America didn't enter until the Japanese fucked up, so they couldn't have. But, where am I? Okay. This guy was, or the Nazi officer was codenamed Federico. The Abwehr accepted Pujol and gave him a crash course in espionage, including secret writing, a bottle of invisible ink, a code book, and £600 for expenses. His instructions were to move to Britain and recruit a network of British agents. Instead, he moved to Lisbon, and, using a tourist's guide to Britain, reference books and magazines from the Lisbon Public Library, and newsreel reports he saw in cinemas, created seemingly credible reports that appeared to come from London.
Hello, yes, I have seen TV. Jack Ryan is good American soldier.
This guy literally went to the library, and he's like, yes, it has been a beautiful day along the Thames River.
Be careful, Germany. This guy Rambo might fuck your shit up.
Who the fuck is Rambo? Are you a time traveler?
He's watching movies, you know.
Yeah,
oh wait, sorry, he's watching movies. Be careful, they have Dracula on their side.
I have reason to believe the Americans have recruited a vampire.
Also, Egypt is increasing their forces. They have resurrected Imhotep.
Oh no, things are going bad on that front.
All in all, things are going good.
It's going very well. So he was faking reports coming from London by living in Lisbon and going to the library, basically.
The worst thing is, soon this guy called Tom Cruise will take over and make shitty movies involving.
Yeah, because that was happening in 1941.
Yeah, obviously.
38.
It's called The Mummy.
I also think it's hilarious how he wanted to be a spy for Britain and was told no, so he went and got he went to the Germans and was like, "Teach me how to be a spy." And they were like, "Okay, why do you need this information?" No reason.
I want to be a spy. I guess.
Okay.
Only if you can outdrink. Who isn't already drinking? Ted.
If you can outdrink Ted. Ted is a German name.
Ted is just my niece.
Why is your niece named Ted? No further questions.
The other ones will ask the questions here.
Exactly. So he claimed to be traveling around Britain and submitted his travel expenses based on fares listed in a British railway guide. A slight difficulty was that he did not understand the pre-decimal system of currency used in Britain, expressed in pounds, shilling, and pence, and was unable to total his expenses. But they didn't care, because he told them he'd total it up later.
Yep, I'll give you the total. It's, 700,000,000.
So this is where the bullshit started to get really interesting, right? Remember how they told him to recruit more agents?
Yes.
He didn't. He made them up.
This is John, Steve, different John, another Steve.
During this time, he created an extensive network of fictitious sub-agents living in different parts of Britain. Because he had never actually visited the UK, he made several mistakes, such as claiming that his alleged contact in Glasgow, which is in Scotland, would do anything for a liter of wine, unaware of Scottish drinking habits. So basically, he's sending the Germans bullshit, and they're eating it up. So his reports are intercepted by the Ultra program, which was a British intelligence intercepting program where they were like code breakers and stuff, right? So they intercepted his reports, and they seemed so credible that they started to launch a spy hunt for this fake spy. for this fake spy network. Yep, that was MI5 launched that. In February 1942, either he or his wife, accounts differ, approached the United States after it had entered the war, contacting U.S. Navy Lieutenant Patrick Demarest in the Naval Attaché's office in Lisbon, who recognized Pujol's potential. He contacted his British counterparts. The British had become aware that someone had been misinforming the Germans and realized the value of this after the Kriegsmarine, which I think is the German Navy, wasted resources attempting to hunt down a non-existent convoy reported to them by Pujol.
Oh my god, they're so fast! We can't catch up to them! What kind of advanced technology does England have?
Yes,
and
the
ship can go 30, 60,
the ship
600 knots.
They have a new technology called warp drive. So the Brits had caught on after watching the Germans scurry around looking for something that doesn't exist, reported to them by the spy network that doesn't exist. So he was moved to Britain on April 24th, 1942, and given the codename Bovril, which was a drink concentrate. He passed the security check conducted by an M16 officer who suggested that he be accompanied by... It's not M16, it's MI6. I always do that. Which I believe means Ministry of Intelligence 6.
Okay.
I think. That's the thing that Bond works for, by the way, is MI6.
His glasses are still stupid.
Accompanied by MI5 officer Tomas Harris, a fluent Spanish speaker, to brief Pujol on how he and Harris should work together. His code name was changed to Garbo after Greta Garbo, a Swedish-American actress that was popular in the States. Pujol's wife and child were later moved to Britain. I never actually... Oh, no, sorry, he was moved to Britain. I already said that. Never mind. I don't know why I thought that he wasn't. So now he's actually in Britain and working for the British to fool the Germans. He operated as a double agent under the Double Cross Committee's aegis. The Double Cross Committee being another term for MI5. By the way, we could do a whole nother one of these on the Double Cross Committee.
Let us know in the comments down below.
The Double Cross Committee was so effective at anti-spy work that after the war, they discovered that not a single German spy had actually made it to Britain without being captured, turned, or committing suicide.
Wow.
So, not a single Nazi spy made it in. And there were a lot of double agents, apparently. Like, more than one. Because they turned a bunch of British officers. Because they got here and they were like, freedom is pretty nice.
Whoa, your bread doesn't cost a month's salary?
Amazing.
Yeah, I'll live here. Yeah, what do you want me to rat
on? He had a case officer. So Tomas Harris is his case officer, as his handler.
The man in the chair.
There's some details about why the nickname was changed. So Harris and Pujol wrote a total of 315 letters addressed to a post office box in Lisbon supplied by the Germans. His fictitious spy network was so efficient and verbose that his German handlers were overwhelmed and made no further attempts to recruit any additional spies in the UK. So his fake spy network is so good that they didn't even try for more spies.
Your network's pretty good.
They're like, should we recruit more spies? No, we have enough with that. We have enough with all those dudes.
I mean, have you seen how many reports they're giving us?
It's crazy, man. Garbo was unique among Britain's double agents, as he was the only one who had deliberately set out to become one. There were a couple other ones that were discovered and turned. Supposedly, there were no actual German spies in Britain. The information supplied to German intelligence was a mixture of complete fiction, genuine information of little military value, and valuable military intelligence artificially delayed. In November 1942, just before the Operation Torch landings in North Africa, Garbo's agent on the River Clyde reported that a convoy of troop ships and warships had left port, painted in Mediterranean camouflage. The letter was postmarked before the landings and sent via airmail, but was artificially delayed by British intelligence in order to arrive too late to be useful. Pujol received a reply stating, "We are sorry that they arrived too late, but your last reports were magnificent."
Huh? Oh, yep. They were great.
Amazing.
Keep up the good work, Germany.
Too bad they didn't for the motherland or fatherland. Pujol had been supposedly communicating with the Germans via courier, a Royal Dutch Airlines pilot, which is one of his spy network that didn't actually exist. Messages were delivered to the KLM flight schedule. They created a fictitious radio operator. So they made a new person who's also fake, who operated the radio, so they could radio to the Germans. On occasion, he had to invent reasons why his agents had failed to report easily available information that the Germans would eventually know about. For example, he reported that his fake Liverpool agent had fallen ill just before a major fleet movement from that port, and so was unable to report the event. To support his story, the agent eventually died, and an obituary was placed in the local newspaper as further evidence to convince the Germans. The Germans were also persuaded to pay a pension to the agent's widow.
Oh, we are sorry. His money.
We are so sorry. We must supply you with something for your exchange.
Juan's sitting there and he's like, how many more agents could die? How many more widows do they have?
This is pretty nice. Oh yeah, you know Bob, he died. Also Steve died.
Bob killed Steve.
Send the money to this address. Yes.
Steve was being a quadruple agent, and he killed Bob, who was just a regular double agent.
Regular agent. It's actually a triple agent. Sorry, he was working for you, and then for the British, and then also for you at the same time. It's a triple agent. Trust me, I know what.
And he also works for me, but not actually me. He just works under me.
He works under one of the people who works under me. He's a sub-agent of one of my sub-agents. Trust me, this all really exists.
Trust me, this makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I could send you the charts, but
I could send you the chart, but it's top secret, and I don't really.
We got to be careful about the interception on these charts.
Anyway, have you heard about the invasion 4 days ago?
Oh, also, Japan's a thing. Did you hear about them?
For radio communication, his British his code name for the Germans was Alaric. For radio communication, he needed the strongest hand encryption the Germans had. The Germans just gave it to him, and he just turned and gave it to the code breakers at Bletchley Park, which is, I assume, a big hub for code breaking for Britain. So, they now had one of the Germans' strongest communication encoders. And this is a hand encryption, which means it wasn't like the Enigma machine, which is fucking uncrackable, by the way.
I can crack it.
So it was. So in order to make the communication seem real, they supplied it to the code breakers. Garbo's encrypted messages were to be received in Madrid, manually decrypted and re-encrypted with an Enigma machine for transmission to Berlin. This gave the codebreakers the best possible source material for a chosen plaintext attack on the Enigma key used for the second leg. That's a lot of codebreaking jargon that I was not able to understand after I looked at it.
They did the thing, and the thing happened, and they did good. America.
Basically, they were just handed the key to a lot of German communications. Okay, so here's where we're going to get to the highlight of his career. In January 1944, the Germans told Pujol that they believed a large-scale invasion in Europe was imminent and asked to be kept informed. This invasion was Operation Overlord. You familiar with that? You ever heard that before?
Nope.
You might know it by a different name. D-Day.
Yep.
So, there was a sister plan to Operation Overlord, which was Operation Fortitude, which was the one dedicated to misinformation about Operation Overlord. He sent over 500 radio messages between January 1944 and D-Day, at times more than 20 messages a day. During planning for the Normandy beach invasion, the Allies decided that it was vitally important that the German leaders be misled into believing that the landing would happen at the Strait of Dover. In order to maintain his credibility, it was decided that Garbo, or one of his agents that don't exist, should forewarn the Germans of the timing and some details of the actual invasion of Normandy, although sending it too late for them to take effective action. Special arrangements were made with the German radio operators to be listening to Garbo through the night of 5th of June and into the morning of the 6th, 1944, using the story that a sub-agent was about to arrive with important information. However, when the call was made at 3 a.m., no reply was received from the German operators until 8 a.m. So turning this on its head, Garbo was able to add more operational details to the message when finally sent, and thus increase his standing with the Germans. Garbo told his German contacts that he was disgusted that his first message was missed, saying, "I cannot accept excuses or negligence. Were it not for my ideals, I would abandon the work." So, we were trying to spread some misinformation about D-Day, and we were going to send them some stuff a little too late, and then the Germans made it way too late. Because they didn't pick up the phone.
You know, I wonder who died for that.
Probably someone. 3 days after D-Day, 9th June, Garbo sent a message to German intelligence that was passed straight to Adolf Hitler and German High Command. Garbo said that he had conferred with his top agents and developed an order of battle showing 75 divisions in Britain. In reality, there were only about 50. Part of the Fortitude Plan was to convince the Germans that a fictitious formation, 1st U.S. Army Group comprising 11 divisions, 150,000 men, commanded by General George Patton, who you might know. He's a pretty fairly famous general.
Yeah.
This deception was supported by fake planes, inflatable tanks, and vans traveling about the area, transmitting bogus radio chatter. By the way, there was this pretty common World War II deception thing where they'd set up like wooden tanks and wooden planes, like on the ground to fool flyover scout planes. So they had inflatable tanks.
I hate my job.
There's another war stories which we might do called the Ghost Army, which is exactly that, but where was I? Let's see. Right. Fake planes. And therefore the first Garbo's message pointed out that units from this formation had not participated in the invasion, and therefore the first landing should be considered a diversion. So he told them that D-Day was a diversion. So a German message sent to Madrid, sent 2 days later, said all reports received in the last week from Arabelle, which is the code name they had for his spy network that definitely existed, undertaking have been confirmed without exception and are to be described as especially valuable. A post-war examination of German records found that during Operation Fortitude, no fewer than 62 of Pujol's reports were included in OKW, which is it's German High Command. It's called Oberkommando der Wehrmacht. So 62 of his reports were included in intelligence summaries just during the D-Day era. So his completely made up spy network is super trusted by the Germans to the point where they don't think they even need more spies.
Oh yeah, we good.
We're good. We have that guy. He's awesome.
You sent us 62 reports.
It's always weird how they seem to come in a little too late. Oh well, he's trying his hardest. OKW accepted Garbo's reports so completely that they kept 2 armored divisions and 19 infantry divisions in the completely wrong place, expecting a second invasion. The German commander-in-chief in the west, Field Marshal Gerd von Rundstedt, refused to allow General Erwin Rommel to move these divisions to Normandy. There were more troops in the wrong place 2 months after the Normandy invasion than there had been on D-Day. So they're still sitting there expecting the real D-Day.
So,
It's coming any day now. It's coming. Trust me. Arabelle said so.
We should probably go.
No,
No.
if we go now, the invasion happens and all of this German land is dead.
And it's your fault.
It's your fault.
No. In late June, Garbo was instructed by the Germans to report on the falling of V-1 flying bombs. Flying nowhere, or fine. My fucking speech just broke. Finding no way of giving false information without arousing suspicion, and being unwilling to give correct information, Harris arranged for Garbo to be arrested. He returned to duty a few days later, now having a need to avoid London, and forwarded an official letter of apology from the Home Secretary for his unlawful detention. Alright. So, most of his stuff is over. There's just some stuff about after the war, and I have to reopen this page because I forgot to write down this number. The Germans paid Pujol $340,000 in U.S. currency to support his network of agents. They didn't pay it in U.S. currency. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had his spy network totaled 27 fabricated characters. 27 made-up people running this made-up spy network. And I did account for inflation to see how much that is. Here it is. It is. Hold on. Did I really type this in again? Okay. He, as a Lark, he was awarded the Iron Cross Second Class, which was a Nazi Germany military award. Come on. Yeah.
This is what you get. It's all live.
Yeah.
Except it's not. Because it's a podcast.
We can just edit.
But why edit when you don't have to?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, that was just more moving stuff. I'm moving, by the way. It's
He's
not,
leaving.
Not super good. So that was 19. Wait. Okay, I'm gonna calculate with 1940. $340,000. They ended up paying him $6,090,000
Wow, that was actually really close. So that's 7 million. I said.
for fake intelligence. And he was awarded the Iron Cross Second Class for his services to the German war effort. This award was normally reserved for frontline fighting men and required Hitler's personal authorization. It was presented via radio, and he received the physical medal from one of his German handlers after the war had ended.
Oh no, we lost, guys. It sucks.
Well, war's over. Better go divvy up the medals.
Damn, can't believe it. I tried so hard. I know. You're a good man.
You are good. You are a good spy. Great spy. Amazing spy. But it was just not to be. Well, here's your medal. And he received an MBE, which is a medal. It's a super good medal that the British King gives out, right? So he has earned the distinction of being one of the few, if not the only, to receive decorations from both sides during World War II. So he was so good at his job, the Nazis literally never found out.
That's how you gotta hold it. Just
keep on trucking right to the end. He feared reprisals from surviving Nazis. He moved to Angola and faked his death from malaria in 1949. And then he went to live a quiet life in Venezuela of running a bookstore and gift shop. He had some more kids. And then later, it wasn't until 1984, that someone actually met with him to like interview him and get his whole story.
fantastic.
So that was Juan Pujol Garcia.
And this has been a War Stories. Thanks for watching.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, smash the like button if you like Juan Pujol.
Ring-a-ling-ding that bell.
Ring-a-ling-ding.
Choo-choo, motherfucker,
If you
choo-choo.
like this video, volunteer as a spy to the Germans, and then go immediately to the British.
But you have to be Spanish to start with.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about in the comments down below, and we might do that. But until then, have a wonderful night, everyone. Bye.
Happy hunting.